Fraction bars are mathematics manipulatives that are very effective and simple to make. They are also available for sale online and in certain stores locally. Materials needed to create this project are cardboard or sugar board, multicolored cartridge papers, pencil, markers, scissors, ruler, glue or stick glue, and cellophane tape. So this is what the end product will look like, and when you fit them all together, when working with fractions, it is important to allow students to make comparisons and understand what fractions represent. Using the fraction bars, we can show the students that we have a whole, and if a whole is cut into two equal halves, then each of that is represented as a half. When two halves are combined or added together, you get a whole. Likewise, if you should cut a whole into three equal parts, you'll get 3/3. When you add 3/3 together, you get back a whole. So this allows the students to form a relationship between fractions and a whole. So fractions are just part representations of a whole. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. And this can be seen using the fraction bars. So students can see for themselves and use a tangible object to count and to interact with in order to understand the concept better. Alright, so what if we want to add a half plus a third? Notice that the denominators are different. So what we want to do is make the comparison to the whole. Alright, so let's put our whole up here. And we're going to see if a half plus a third is greater or less than a whole. So we take a half and we take a third. And when we put them together, right then and there, you can see that it doesn't equate. So the half plus a third will be less than a whole. All right. So how can we go about representing this? All right. So we need to find another fraction that can measure up exactly to the half and the whole with the same denominator, right? So let's try a quarter. So students can guess if they try a quarter. So a quarter matches perfectly. However, does it match with this? And see, no, it does, because we have a space left over. So we can't use a quarter. Alright. Now students can be allowed to just guess and check to find the answer. However, the easiest thing is to introduce multiples, and we know that common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So 2 times 3 is 6. So let's try 1 over 6. So we come 1, 2, 3, and we see that this is equal. So let's try that now. 1, 2. Perfect. Right? So now what we do, we realize that 1 over 6 is the same as a half plus 2, 3. So now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now our answer is going to be equal to 5 over 6. And we can also let them make a comparison, so we know that 5 over 6 is also less than a whole. Alright, so we can do. So when the student is asked to perform the calculation 2 over 3 minus a half, first thing they do is they will already understand, or should understand, how to use the denominators in the sum to find the LCM. So going through that process, they will equate the fractions using the a smaller fraction, and so in this case it's 1/6. So we see they can realize that 2/3 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 over 6, and as they come across information they can document it. So 2/3 is 4 over 6 minus, so they're going to equate the next fraction, and this is a half. So right then and there we have 2 of them. We need another one, and they can see that yes, perfectly. So they would have compared the two first and then document their answers. So this is the count: 1, 2, 3 over 6. And by now they would have understood that once the denominators are made the same or equated, then they can go ahead and subtract the numerator as is, or using the bars, can say, all right, so if what they want to know, if I take 3 from the 4, how many are left? So they would come and take away 1, 2, 3, and they're left with 1. So there they can record the answer equal to 1 over 6. All right, so that is one way for them to do it. Other students may choose to play around with the concept. If I have a third and I minus a half, then what fraction would fill this space to equate, and the trial and error are eventually they can see that 1/6. So right here they can realize if I have 2/3 and I minus a half from it, I am left with 1/6. So that there's more than one way to get to the correct answer. Fractions are very important in students' daily lives. They encounter them when they eat, use money to make purchases, and also when they share with each other. Students with special needs are no different and must be afforded the opportunity to understand and make connections to the concept so that they can build conceptual knowledge and exercise some amount of procedural fluency. When students begin to exercise some amount of mastery based on their unique ability, then teachers can build on this strategy by introducing the pictorial method before going completely abstract.